Mark Buddle, the former head of the Comancheros bikie gang, commanded one of Australia's largest drug syndicates, enjoying a life of extravagance and luxury. However, a past incident from 2010 resurfaced, forcing him into a life on the lam. Surprisingly, it wasn't the re-emergence of this event that spelled his downfall, but rather an innocuous gesture from British tourists that ignited a chain of events leading to his demise. This is the tale of Mark Buddle. Born in Maroubra, Australia, in 1984, Mark Douglas Buddle endured a challenging upbringing, delving into a life of crime at a young age, resulting in multiple stints in juvenile detention centres. Around the age of 21, Mark joined the infamous Australian bikie gang known as the Comancheros. Revered and feared in equal measure, the Comancheros are notorious for their involvement in Australia's criminal underworld. While drug smuggling tops their list of illicit activities, extortion, assassinations, money laundering, and robberies are also common revenue streams. Mark harbored aspirations of ascending the ranks within the Comancheros, determined to carve out a reputation for himself. In March 2009, the then leader of the Comancheros club, Mikawi, found himself arrested due to his involvement in the notorious airport brawl, which resulted in the fatality of a rival Hells Angels affiliate. For the full narrative, I encourage you to watch my comprehensive video about Mikawi. Mikawi's arrest and subsequent absence triggered a reshuffling of power within the Comancheros. Stepping into the void left by Mikawi, Duax Dax Ngakuru assumed leadership, ascending to the position of Supreme Commander. While this could have presented an opportunity for Mark to vie for Mikawi's position, his moment had yet to arrive, and he had other concerns to contend with. On the morning of Monday, June 7, 2010, at just past 6 a.m., 59-year-old Gary Alibun embarked on his usual rounds in his cash-in-transit van, arriving at the Commonwealth Bank ATM. Having commenced his workday a mere 2 hours earlier, Gary, as was his custom, bid farewell to his wife Monica with an expression of love and left a kind note on the kitchen counter of their Kirrawee residence. Upon reaching the Commonwealth Bank, Gary anticipated a routine day. Accompanied by his colleague, he transported $300,000 to replenish the ATMs. However, their plans were abruptly disrupted when 3 armed assailants stormed in, commanding them to raise their hands and surrender. Under duress, Gary and his colleague relinquished the cash cassettes as demanded, with 5 individuals complying without resistance, adhering to their training. Tragically, amidst the chaos of the robbery, an unnecessary and devastating act unfolded. Despite posing no threat, with his hands raised in surrender and his back turned to the assailants, Gary was callously shot in the back by one of the robbers. The single gunshot sent Gary collapsing to the ground. In a heartless display, the shooter proceeded to steal Gary's work-issued firearm before fleeing with his accomplices to a waiting silver Audi S8, driven by a 4th accomplice. Gary was swiftly rushed to the Royal Prince Alfred Hospital, but tragically, he succumbed to his injuries shortly after arrival. 3 hours after Gary had left their home, Monica, his wife of 25 years, turned on the 7 a.m. news and was devastated to learn that a security guard had been shot while delivering cash in the city. Instantly overcome with sickness, Monica realized that she had lost her beloved husband. To compound the tragedy, Gary was just 8 months away from retirement. The Audi used in the crime was later discovered completely burned out, not far from the Comancheros clubhouse. Given the cowardly nature of the act, a reward of $100,000 was offered in hopes of assisting the investigation into the incident. Make no mistake, this was not a robbery gone awry, asserted Detective Acting Superintendent Grant Taylor. Gary L. Ben had fully complied with the assailants' demands and was ruthlessly executed in cold blood. Remember this incident, as it will resurface later as a crucial aspect of the narrative. Shortly before 1 a.m. on December 29, 2010, authorities responded to an urgent call reporting a significant fire on Coogee Bay Road. Upon arrival, they encountered flames engulfing Coogee Incorporated, a tattoo parlor, with nearly 30 neighbors evacuated as a safety precaution. A nearby couple recounted being abruptly awoken by police, urging them to evacuate their apartment due to the spreading fire. Firefighters eventually subdued the blaze, fortunately without any injuries. However, subsequent investigations revealed that this inferno was no accident. Witnesses attested that the shop's front window was shattered, followed by the hurling of a petrol bomb through the broken glass, igniting the establishment. Gradually, the pieces of the puzzle began to align. Owned by Duax, Mark, and another individual, Coogee Incorporated appeared to be the target of a deliberate attack. To comprehend the motive behind this assault, we must delve into the past. Like any bikie gang, the Comancheros had their share of adversaries, among them the notorious motorcycle club. The feud between these factions likely traces back to 2008, when the leader Alan Sarkis suffered a car explosion, purportedly orchestrated by the Comancheros. Over the next 2 years, the two bikie gangs would go on to attack each other. Therefore, law enforcement suggested that the arson attack on Coogee Incorporated might have been an act of reprisal by the Notorious Motorcycle Club. However, it's important to note that no one has been prosecuted for the assault. Furthermore, as previously mentioned, the Comancheros had numerous adversaries, broadening the pool of potential suspects. The extensive list of enemies may have been a contributing factor in Supreme Commander Duak Staks Ngakuru's decision to flee Australia for Turkey in 2011. Heightened investigative scrutiny likely added to the pressure, perhaps serving as the final impetus for his departure. With the top leadership position vacant, the ambitious and opportunistic Mark seized the moment, ascending to the position of Supreme Commander within the Comancheros. Bestowed with the title of Supreme Commander, Mark felt untouchable, believing that no one would dare challenge him, particularly regarding his mother. However, on December 18, 2011, during a visit to the Spearmint Rhino Gentlemen's Club on King Street with 3 companions, a verbal altercation erupted between Mark, dressed in a white shirt, and another patron who allegedly made derogatory remarks about his mother, remarks I cannot repeat due to platform policies. The confrontation escalated into a brawl, with punches and kicks exchanged for 2 minutes. One of Mark's adversaries sustained significant injuries, losing 2 teeth, suffering 3 fractured teeth, and shattering another. Another individual sustained a broken hand in the altercation. 2 weeks following the incident at the Spearmint Rhino Gentlemen's Club, Mark was apprehended during a dawn raid conducted by the anti-bikie police unit Strike Force Raptor. During his court appearance, Mark pleaded guilty to 1 count of affray, 2 counts of assault, and 1 count of intentionally causing injury. Despite his admissions, he was permitted to await final sentencing while remaining free. Mark's tenure as Supreme Commander of the Comancheros was marred by turbulence. Within a year, underworld sources anonymously voiced concerns about his leadership, describing him as erratic, dangerous, and detrimental to business. Unlike his predecessors, Mark employed a distinct leadership style, fostering a close-knit core group while alienating others within the club. This internal discord led to chaos within the Comancheros, resulting in members attacking each other and, tragically, the demise of one member, Falo Paisu. In addition, 2 days later, Mark's cousin and fellow Comanchero, John Devon, fell victim to a shooting, narrowly escaping death. Meanwhile, Mark encountered recurring stints in prison, further exacerbating the disorder within the organization. Amidst this tumultuous period, in 2013, the Comancheros established a new chapter in Sydney's south, spearheaded by Mohammed Hijazi, a prominent member seen as a potential successor to Mark, who frequently found himself incarcerated. On January 6, 2014, Mark encountered yet another brush with the law, this time on the Gold Coast, Queensland. He was apprehended due to an outstanding warrant related to the altercation at the Spearmint Rhino and for making threats against a Queensland police officer and his family in 2012. Following his arrest, Mark faced sentencing a few months later, resulting in a minimum of 9 months behind bars with an additional 6 months of parole. Despite his lawyer, Graham Turnbull, advocating against incarceration, the judge ruled otherwise. Mark asserted his commitment to his young children and expressed intentions to marry his girlfriend upon release. However, Mark's plans took an unexpected turn. Just 5 days after completing his latest stint on parole in July 2015, he found himself in custody once again. This time, he, along with his girlfriend and daughter, attempted to depart Australia in a chartered Bel Air B-20 King aircraft, costing upwards of $50,000. The journey was intended as a dream vacation, culminating in a surprise marriage proposal on the shores of Noumea. However, upon landing at Newcastle Airport for a refueling and passport check, Australian Border Force officers intervened, halting the plane for inspection. During the search, officers discovered over $60,000 of undeclared Australian currency stashed in multiple bags. Subsequently, Mark was charged with money laundering and failing to report taking $10,000 or more out of Australia. In a curious twist, police documents revealed Mark's assertion that his girlfriend completed the relevant forms, claiming, "My girlfriend filled out the cards. I only had 10, and she had the rest." The circumstances surrounding the incident were indeed intriguing. Mark's tumultuous journey continued as he endured another 2-month stint in jail before regaining his freedom. Meanwhile, the unresolved case of Gary Alabin, the innocent victim of the fatal ATM robbery, lingered for 6 years without any prosecutions. However, authorities identified Mark as a person of interest in the investigation. This suspicion likely prompted Mark to flee Australia permanently, leaving a significant impact on the Comancheros. With Mark's departure, the Comancheros faced upheaval within their ranks. Already grappling with internal strife, Mark's absence created a power vacuum that precipitated a feud among members, dividing loyalties between their offshore leader and a leader closer to home. For months, police and the anti-bikie strike force Raptor remained on high alert as outbreaks of violence within the Comancheros occurred sporadically. The absence of leadership and the ensuing discord exacerbated the already volatile situation within the outlaw motorcycle gang. At the onset of 2017, tensions within the Comancheros reached a boiling point when Ali Batsi, Mark's trusted lieutenant, engaged in a physical altercation with another high-ranking member, Mezin Chandab. In response, Mark asserted his authority by sending a directive to all Comanchero members, declaring himself the ultimate authority and forbidding any member from harming another or establishing new chapters without his explicit consent. He appointed Ali as the interim leader in his absence. As a consequence of Mark's decree, Mezin Chandab opted to sever ties with the club, taking along 20 members. The escalating friction and fears of a full-scale confrontation erupting across Sydney prompted the proactive intervention of the Strike Force Raptor Squad. They conducted raids on the residences of Comanchero members and associates, utilizing legislation pertaining to firearm prohibition orders to execute searches without warrants. Meanwhile, Mark enjoyed a lavish lifestyle in Dubai while remaining deeply involved in drug smuggling operations. However, the drug market landscape shifted in 2020, leading to decreased profits for Mark and his cohorts. In response, he sought to establish a mafia-style drug cartel, reminiscent of Lucky Luciano's tactics, aimed at manipulating drug prices on the street. This initiative involved collaborating with key players in the Australian drug trade. To coordinate this endeavour, Mark dispatched text messages to all major players in the drug business across Australia and abroad, emphasising their roles in Sydney, New South Wales, and outlining the parameters of their collaboration. In 2021, plans were underway to establish a Sydney Commission to address the erratic fluctuations in drug prices, particularly in substances like methamphetamine, Fry. Mark recognized the need for structure and regulation in the drug trade to stabilize prices and ensure safer transactions. He proposed imposing taxes on major drug importers in exchange for maintaining price stability and facilitating secure drug transactions. While the New South Wales NSW police noted a subsequent uptick in drug prices, it remained unconfirmed whether Mark's approach had directly influenced this change. Despite the apparent success of his efforts, Mark's propensity for trouble persisted. After 5 years in Dubai, his tenure came to an abrupt end following a clash with English tourists. Video footage posted on Instagram depicted Mark, identified as the exiled Comanchero leader, engaging in a heated confrontation with the tourists at a restaurant. Reportedly, one of the tourists slapped Mark's wife, Emel, on the behind, sparking his fury. However, Dubai's stringent legal system presented a significant risk for Mark. To evade potential legal repercussions, he fled to Turkey and subsequently settled in North Cyprus, a state with no extradition treaty with Australia. While this provided him with a sanctuary from prosecution, Mark's nomadic existence reflected the ongoing challenges he faced in maintaining a low profile amid his tumultuous lifestyle. On July 9, 2022, Mark was arrested on the island and subsequently extradited to Turkey. The Northern Cyprus Interior Ministry issued a statement declaring Mark Buddle's deportation, citing concerns for the peace and security of the populace. Mark and his legal representation alleged that politicians had been extorting money from him, despite his efforts to remain free by paying bribes. In August 2022, Mark was deported from Turkey to Australia, where he faced immediate arrest. He was charged with importing 160 kilograms of cocaine valued at $40 million Australian dollars into Melbourne in May 2021. Court documents revealed additional charges of conspiracy to import a commercial quantity of a border-controlled drug on March 19 and June 3, 2021, with each offence carrying a potential life sentence. Regarding the unresolved case of Gary Alabin, the significant increase in rewards from $100,000 to $1 million in 2020 did not lead to any prosecutions by 2024. Mark's legal predicament appears dire, with multiple serious charges against him. As the legal proceedings unfold, the outcome remains uncertain. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to leave a comment and like the video to support the channel. Make sure to subscribe and enable notifications to stay updated on future content. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.